This is a real interesting one. Originally, Neil Diamond wrote and recorded "I'm a Believer," but that one went to the Monkees and was a huge hit. And you know, the Monkees were huge back in the '60s. I mean, they were really big. It does sound like a Neil Diamond song. If you listen to his vocal cadence and his tone, it definitely sounds like it. You know, it's one of them songs that if you listen to an oldies but goodies radio station, you still hear it a whole lot. It's always amazing when you hear these particular songs that they have a life and you can hear the vocal guide track of them and you can almost pick up on it. Funny story is that Neil Diamond's manager at the time told him, said, "Hey, you can't be giving up number one songs, you know." And Neil Diamond's like, "I got to pay my rent, you know." Yeah, it's a business. And if you're a songwriter and you are writing, hit songs, it doesn't matter because it's going to be played forever and a day. And it may have done bigger for the Monkees than it would have done for Neil Diamond. We'll never know. But it was a huge song, though. It's one of those songs. Um, it was catchy. It was reminiscent of the time. It was really, a finger snapper vocal track. And it's one of them songs that you hear it a whole lot, and sometimes you hear a song and you kind of go through the motions of it and you think to yourself, well, that song is, you know, and it may have been like a novelty for somebody else, but it was a huge hit for who was doing it. So just saying, you are often amazed at how these tracks come to view and how they come into place. But there's never no given. But if you can write a song and it's a hit song, what you gonna do? So I think that that's very compelling and commendable. And then again, sometimes artists have songs sitting in the can as demos, and then someone else comes along and does them, and they take a life of their own. And sometimes it's best that way. Now that's the mark of a successful singer songwriter, because you got to know when to say when and know when to give it up. So the Monkees were a novelty act and they were a niche, but they had some fans. I've met a few Monkees fans in my lifetime, that were really, and so much interesting story about the Monkees because their lead singer's name is Davy Jones. Davy Jones. And that name also happens to be a known of another guy who had to change his name legally to David Bowie. So they have a lot of interesting things. The interesting thing about the Monkees that they were like the Milli Vanilli of the '60s. This is nothing new in the land of show business where we create characters, we create facades, we create image, we create this attitude, all that. But can you make it believable where people will go along and buy it? And. So I'm a Believer was a catchy song. I can just remember so many days listening to particular pop radio stations, hearing the songs played over and over and over and over and over again, and not even really thinking about that Neil Diamond had been behind it. Even though I've listened to a lot of his songs and works, but it did come to me as time went on about it. But it's a great bit of novelty and tribute that sometimes artists have songs sitting there. You always like to hear the demos of what they song would have sounded like, how the audience would have reacted, would it have been a hit if both acts had came up with it at the same time, and would it have been seen the same or would it gone a different way? We'll never know. Because you gotta remember also sometimes artists are singing in different keys, there's a different arrangements, there's different production. So it all depends on how it hits, and it could be like something that's going on. So anyway, but you tell me what you think. Neil Diamond wrote "I'm a Believer," but the Monkees made it bigger, and he has a version. Would you wanted to hear both versions, or were you happy with what came out? Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like, and hit that membership because when you do requests like this come true, stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.